a shadow of a doubt. There's the headshot. Needs one more.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Guns of Boom Challenger Series. We're back for what I believe is actually our final week of play here for the Spring Challenger Series, where we are going to be deciding our top 2 teams from both Europe and North America that'll be moving forward into the Pro Series event in Brazil. My name is Blue. Joining me here once again on the broadcast is Jason Kaplan. Welcome, Jason.
Just happy to forget my name.
Yeah.
I expect a little delay there. I'm here joined by Jackie and Jason Kaplan. No, yeah, so it's good to be here.
Actually, Jeff.
Trying to go with the Jeff route. But one thing I do want to say, though, Blue, over the course of today, so we're doing EU and NA today, is that we technically do have our top 2 from each region. Like, I obviously want to make it exciting, make the show great for you guys, but also I'm not going to lie to you and say any of these matches are actually going to affect the outcome. If anything, maybe some seeding can change between first and second place only in EU. NA has no chance because Impact is actually in first place by over 100 points. But there's no way ForZe anymore, from how the brackets have played out, could take second place away. So now it's coming down to a battle, technically, of first seed.
Yeah, basically, as long as DustTwo played today and actually gets at least 25 points, they are absolutely secure in their position, and there's going to be no opportunity, like you were saying, for ForZe to be able to break that and take the second spot from them. So, unfortunately, the overall matches are not going to have any impact whatsoever on who actually makes it to the LAN at this point. We already have those teams pretty much predetermined, but the teams below them could still fight, obviously, for their higher placing, and we may still be able to see the top 2 fight over seeding, and that is going to be the primary focus of this broadcast, to see if DustTwo can actually pass Lazarus and knock them out. We can take a look at the bracket and see where exactly our matches are going to be taking us for today. We do indeed see DustTwo making it that far. ForZe, unfortunately, nowhere to be seen in the top 4, so their chances of trying to break the mold to get into a top 2 spot are gone right on that. The Knights of Honor, however, who surprised about 3 weeks ago and then did it again 2 weeks back, are back once again here in another semifinal against Lazarus. And meanwhile, we have UnBreakable in the other slot down below in our other semifinal that'll be going up against DustTwo a little bit later on the stream.
Yeah, UnBreakable didn't really have that great of a season, I have to say. After looking at them in the winter season, the last cup, they were ahead by so many points. They only dropped down a second seed because they just didn't place well. They actually didn't even make it to the semis at the end of that week. But to see them not really even get top 5 in this season is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So
they played in Texas, you know? They played the Pro Series. Yeah, they had a sub come in for them. They had Nokia filling in for the team. But still kind of surprised to see them not have anywhere near the same performance they had.
Makes you question if there was like any sort of bigger roster changes in that they needed to fill in for that ended up really messing up their kind of synergy and ultimately putting them in a much worse position when it came down to the Spring Series overall here.
Yeah, I think it was Deathface who was playing with them winter season, and spring season he wasn't, and that's just when they kind of tanked, unfortunately. But for DustTwo, this is actually really cool for them because they weren't in top 2 until last week alone. They were able to push through and beat some big name teams and get themselves on the board, and more importantly, take home the victory, even though it was 3-1. Didn't get the slap in the back as hard as I could. But they did take it, and they were able to get through the top 2. So that's really well done by them, and now we're going to see them in Brazil in a few weeks' time, actually. I think just over a month and 4 days.
Yep, it should be the 7th through the 9th of June, if I recall the dates correctly. So that's going to be happening in a little over a month, where we'll be seeing all those teams face off in Brazil, once again for one final position, going into the Gods of Boom event, which is also going to be relatively close now, as that'll be happening in July, if memory serves me correctly.
At ESL 1 Cologne. So I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen, because we have two teams already qualified now, right? We have Noble, and we've got Impact. So Noble from the Katowice Invitational, and then Gods of Boom from Katowice, and then Impact from the Pro Series event in Texas. Now we're number 3rd here from Brazil. I wonder who the 4th team's going to be. Is it going to be an invitational? Are they going to have a playoff for that position? I don't know what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is going to happen is our first match is going to start here, Blue.
And it's going to be the same map rotation as usual, guys. So we're over to Paradise Island for our first map of the series.
I didn't realize after doing this for like 6-7 weeks.
To remind the new viewers, you know, it wasn't value to you or anything. But we are into the match now. It's King of the Hill, so big focus on a central point here. The Knights of Honor have taken control of it now. We've seen them in past weeks get upsets against teams like Lazarus. And we're going to see if they can pull that off once again.
A lot of damage done here, as you saw him come in from the side. But again, Lazarus, this is technically a big match for them because they need to win this one to get into the finals. And then, I don't know what would happen. If DustTwo beat them in the finals, if DustTwo do beat UnBreakable, it'll be like equal points, be 475 to 475. Then it comes down to a head-to-head who actually has that first seed technically. or it comes down to like how many overall tournaments they've won or placings overall. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen. So Lazarus need this victory, but so far Knights are really starting to push him here, approaching that 400-point line.
Yeah, great control over the central point here, and even better, they're splitting up this control, so they're not over-focusing on any one central part of the map, but they could just get rotated on by members of Lazarus. They're actually making it pretty difficult for Lazarus to try and take any positioning whatsoever. They do try to move through the central hut to swing out onto the point, and he's going to have minimum get them a decap. Looks like it was able to push the members of Knights of Honor off the point pretty definitively as well. We've already got respawns working their way in. Notorious is going to take a lot of damage there, but still manages to get the kill and manages to pick up a double elimination at the same time. Decap also game, but he is going to get knocked out by Excellence a second later. However, Johnny's able to move in, complete the recap, and put Knights of Honor back into control.
Yeah, good job by Knights actually to retake this one. The problem is now Divine King's going to be coming back in. Notorious will be off to the side. You can see T-Mac already rain in some RPGs from distance. But look at Excellence flanking from behind. I feel like we see this happen so many times when we go to this map here on Paradise Island. There's always that one player who flanks from this little hut here, catches the other team off guard. However, it doesn't work out for him this time because Knights pick up a quick triple elimination. The fourth going to come in eventually here for Dobar, and that is going to put them over a 300-point lead here in a few seconds.
Dobar's going to get a double of his own, which is going to continue to add additional points onto the scoreboard here for the Knights of Honor. He'll even get a streak for himself. Unfortunately, it does get taken down a moment later with a combo breaker. That is going to throw some points right back onto Lazarus' side, but Knights of Honor still have a pretty definitive advantage at this point. They are going to lose the cap once again. Lazarus doing a great job over these last few seconds of committing themselves to an aggressive push, and Romeo winning an important, very close fight there. The quick switch as well over to the sniper. He's going to pick up 2 more eliminations, gets the triple. Can he make it 4? No, fortunately not. He'll get taken down by T-Mac.
So the damage was done on a T-Mac, and eventually someone else was able to come in and clean this one up. Now they're trying to push in from the side, from a close quarters. Excellence gets himself a double. And I think we're now going to see Lazarus take the lead here, especially this aggressive play of Excellence. Catches out Dejani, going to go for the nade here to the last player remaining. It's going to be T-Mac who's going to be trying to come around the corner, but realizes he needs to wait for those respawns to come through, and his teammates rush straight through. Notorious going to take down Excellence here, but not be able to do anything. It's Romeo who's just really come alive here in this last minute.
A lot of players picking up some really important frags right now with the Barracuda. We can see Romeo doing that once again. Not necessarily a kill that time, but at least some significant damage. This is going to work out great here. Trying to hold back the Knights of Honor. Once again, throws the cap back into Lazarus' favor. They've done it. They've made the comeback happen. They've officially had the lead. Now they've got to try to hold on to it here, as we're going to have 1 or 2 more waves of respawns coming out for the Knights of Honor. It's not looking like they're able to keep pace here. We still have Lazarus with point control. Johnny might be able to steal it away in a second here, but no, Lord Mono moves in, is not able to stop the cap from happening, but can recap it pretty quickly before Notorious has a chance to stop it.
There's no chance. I mean, they were 12 points away. They had to throw bodies on the point, but when they did, they would eventually be picked off on the transition from their own spawn to the actual control point. So well done. I didn't expect Lazarus to hold on. They were down by, what, 300 points at one point in that match, and then it all came down to Romeo. That solo hold on that point, getting the 2 snipes in the third as well in close quarters. Really well done by Lazarus to really keep their composure when they were down by so much.
And really the opposite, unfortunately, for the Knights of Honor, who seemed to have great map control for the first half of the map that we saw play out there, but ultimately ended up losing it, getting flanked on at least 2 different occasions by members of Lazarus, notably Excellence, using those side huts. And unfortunately, as a result of that, lost position on the point multiple times, had some luck in the mid-round with retaking it, but then lost that capability completely by the end of the round again, due to the sniping presence coming in from the Barracudas, being played by quite a few members, I think, from Lazarus. Actually, no, just Romeo picking it up there.
I think it was really a really nice flank out of Excellence. Even though they lost all 4 players, I think what he did was he got so much damage done that Romeo was able to come in and just get those clean, quick snipes to actually allow him to get that full control without taking much damage. Because they're low HP, 1 snipe shot will finish him off, and he was able to keep his HP up high enough to survive 3 individual fights, and then allowed the respawns to come in from his team to take the point, and more importantly, get the control back in their favor. But now we'll be going on to our next map. It's going to be Old Factory. We have Lazarus currently with a 1-0 lead, and we're going to find out if they're going to get to the finals another time. It feels like we're always saying Lazarus is in the finals.
Yeah, it seems like that'll be the case, but of course they have to get past another TDM matchup in order to do that. This is where obviously the dynamic tends to shift a little bit for our players and may end up going in the other direction. However, with the great control we saw of the overall map playout that we had from Lazarus there, and the ability to turn things around, that is going to be quite dangerous, at least in my opinion, for the Knights of Honor if they can't pull off something similar going on to this next map.
If I remember correctly, Noble played Lazarus last week.
Yes, we had that rematch there from Gods of Boom.
And they won on Paradise, right? They beat them, and then they came on to the next map, onto TDM, and that's where they struggled against Lazarus. And that's where Lazarus was able to really excel and take the 3rd map to take the series. So I'm assuming Lazarus should be able to take this in a 2-0, just because of how much better they can be on TDM. But then the question comes, is it Noble not being as good on TDM as they are on King of the Hill? or into objective-based maps, or is Lazarus just being that great? So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's going to have to be, but it's I definitely agree with you there, Lazarus. We've seen them, at least in matchups against Noble and ones that we've had from them on LAN in the past, it's shown them to be much stronger on any TDM game type and slightly weaker. I wasn't up at like a huge margin, but slightly weaker on any objective-based modes. But here we go, folks. We are going into the second map now. So let's take a look and see if Lazarus can pull off the 2-0, zipping themselves right into the final and knocking the Knights of Honor into our third-place match, or if we'll have a map 3 on the docket.
I'm going to start off with Divine King taking a bit of damage. Nice little play. I didn't see who that was. Actually taking like a high ground. I think it was Dejani there. Either way, Romeo's going to be, again, like the real backbone of the team. His snipes have just been fantastic over the course of these last weeks, I want to say. I feel like he's really been putting time and energy into practicing and really trading up into this this role here for his team. So they have the initial control at 55-27. Dobar, though, gets a nice flank. And Dejani able to take down Divine King to help close this gap.
We should, in theory, see a lot more sniping in general happening on this map just due to the slower paced nature of the way that these fights end up happening. But again, a bit of an exchange happening with no clear winner coming out of that one, but Knights of Honor do get a slight 15-point advantage. And at the end of it then, Excellence along with Johnny are going to trade blows once again. Same even exchange, and we'll see Lord Mono pick up the next frag from inside of the central hut.
Tagging along with Excellence. Okay, well, we were tagging along with Excellence as it switches back over as the 2-for-2 trade does happen. This time going to be in favor of Knights so far in terms of points. Dejani going to be overwhelmed by 2. Again, I guess they're waiting for Notorious to go for the flank, but the flank does not work. And the side of Lazarus is going to come out with a 2-to-1 exchange. And now Romeo going to be pressured here. But again, Excellence going to be able to get the return. And again, we can't underestimate or understate, how important it is to be able to get these return frags because of how it keeps that scoreline so close between the two teams.
And more importantly, how it can potentially shoot a team ahead, like we saw there a moment ago from Excellence, who had turned a player that was trying to flank him from behind, I believe was Notorious, and failed at it. Actually served to put Lazarus a few points ahead there for a second. But as has been the case, it's remaining incredibly close here. Only a 6-point lead for the Knights of Honor. They have controlled the advantage for a large majority of this matchup, but it's never been more than about 20 points at a time here. So it's been a very, very delicate lead.
Really aggressive play to Lord Mono there. Looks like he was just trying to reset his HP, I would guess. Nay going to come through. Not going to finish off the low HP target there. You see T-Mac about half HP. Dejani should fall. Divine King actually getting saved by a teammate there. I think it was Lord Mono since he ran out of ammo in that primary. But we've not seen actually a lot of high ground control now that I think about it. We're going to see Notorious and T-Mac go for it themselves. It's been mostly about like trying to send Notorious in to flank around the backside of Lazarus while pressuring a different angle. But it's just not been working out. Look at Lord Mono. Just turns around and quickly takes down Dobar.
A lot of angles being held here right now. Notorious, though, moving in, is able to pick up only have 2 for himself there. Only managed to actually get 1 credit for 1 of them, though, excuse me. And all for this one, we are still going to see Lazarus trying to make push. The problem is, again, they just don't have good ground control. This is going back to the fact that the Knights of Honor have done a really good job of controlling the overall map and trying to box Lazarus out. But look at Lazarus doing a good job of fighting back into it again. Problem is they are down relatively significantly now compared to the rest of this match. And especially with a few players able to run around picking up multi-frags like this, it's not going to help their case. And we will ultimately start to see the Knights of Honor drift very close to the 500-point win mark.
Yeah, 50 points left to go for them. Now you can see Lazarus try to play a little bit more careful. I'm surprised not seeing Knights actually just sit back and allow Lazarus to come to them so they can easily get these trades out. Lord Mono, very low HP, does get a nice little double there. They actually pick up quite a bit of traction here, and they're going to take the lead away here for Knights of Honor. The question becomes, how much damage have they taken in the meantime? Can they somehow maintain this lead here for the next minute and a half?
Johnny hasn't seen Lord Mono hiding out just outside of their spawn, so he's going to be able to push back in, potentially a tad too aggressively, as he does still get knocked out quickly by Dobar without a whole lot of damage being returned. Notorious pick up the next one. This is the pendulum swing right back into their favor, and as such, the Knights of Honor are going to take map number 2, sending us to a 3rd and final map to decide the series.
I really feel like teams have so much to learn when it comes to TDM. Like, I really do, because like, you can't peek alone. You have to peek with a teammate. You need to have 2 people shooting against this one target. And then we saw there at the end, I didn't catch the names as quickly as it happened, but one player on Lazarus peeked, fell, next player pushed out after him, peeked, and fell as well. Like, you need to peek at the same time. You need to maximize the amount of damage you can do while minimizing the amount of damage you take. That's how TDM works.
Yeah, well,
that's how the game works, period.
Ultimately, Knights of Honor will take the win, however, on that map. Obviously, a nice attempt at a comeback once again from Lazarus, but it was a little bit too little, a little bit too late, as they weren't able to keep their players alive after the initial burst of momentum that did give them the lead back into their favor. And as such, Still ended up losing those 2 to 3 players at the end due to low HP. That pushed the Knights of Honor over the edge. So now we're going to be heading over to Europe Square for our 3rd and final map of the series to decide who's going to be moving forward into our grand final and who is going to be heading down into the lower bracket. Well, not really lower bracket because we don't have one. Excuse me. They're going to go to the 3rd place bracket where they'll play one final match.
It's still technically lower. It's lower than the finals.
It's a very small lower bracket.
Like you're moved to below the finals. Yeah. Like I'd counted it.
It's a single match.
Just wink at me.
Did I?
You winked at me.
I don't know. My eye might have twitched. So.
I say wink. I need some confidence today. I've had a bad day yesterday, so
okay.
I could use the confidence.
It was a wink.
It was a wink. Thank you very much, man.
No problem.
Great.
Take that one.
I can hardly tell you just flew here from the U.S. and arrived today.
Yeah, my eyes being half closed isn't evident enough, right?
All right, so again, going back to this match, Europe Square coming up next. Important match for Lazarus, not as important for Knights. Depends if they're spiteful, I guess, because Knights cannot qualify through in the top 2 at all. But what they can do is ruin Lazarus' day by beating them here, knock them into 3rd, 4th place match, and knocking them potentially out of 1st place. And Blue, it's important because if you get 1st seed out of the group, or out of the region,
go right to the semis.
Exactly. You double your prize money as well. Without playing a single match, you double the amount you earn for going to that event, which means you can do double the things. You can buy double drinks, or to me, buy double the candy and bring it back with you, back home, wherever that may be. So still, a very important matchup for Lazarus. They need to keep that composure, and they need to hope that Knights isn't going to just outperform them here on the final map.
Plus, like, crushing your opponent's dreams is always way more fun than fulfilling your own.
That is true. So that is definitely true.
All right, guys. Well, time for the final map. So let's jump into it, and let's see who's going to come out on top and who, unfortunately, will have to go down into our 3rd place match. Will it be Lazarus or the Knights of Honor? Let us know in the chat.
I mean, there still is money. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay.
Bodied.
You hate to see it, or you love to see it.
Never seen more than one player just get wrecked like that before.
That was a mathematical play.
Yeah. So nicely done by the Knights of Honor.
Lord Mono does it. Sorry, I've been watching Adventure Time lately. Trying to go through the whole seasons.
He's got some pretty spicy plays to start this game off, but a lot of red on the cap boards right now. However, that's going to start to flip. The Knights of Honor are going to take control of, looks like, both the side points. A and C heading into their favor. B still under solid control for the Knights, but Lazarus is going to very quickly make a comeback if they can hold on to these 2 points for more than a few moments. T-Mac getting the decap off on A right now, but the problem is Lazarus is also stealing B away. So no ground gained here at all for the Knights of Honor, and like we predicted, Lazarus is very quickly going to take the lead away.
T-Mac up in a 1v1 here, going to lose out to Mono. A is going to be turned over here in a few seconds, so Lazarus does have a little bit of a lead for their side. The problem is it's coming down to a battle out towards A, which looks like the side of Lazarus has been able to secure it. Again, they lost out on B. It's very fast-paced and very like topsy-turvy kind of mode here with how close all the points are and how often they are, turning in other team's favor. Now we're all going to collapse here into middle, though, onto B.
We're going to try to jump into this fight, and this can be pretty decisive for who will hold the lead, at least for the next minute or so here. Dobar starting to work his way out of spawn. A lot of members of the Knights of Honor getting wiped out there and having to work their way out from spawn. It's also allowing them new opportunities to sneak up on a few of these points, as we're going to see now. But unfortunately, at least in the case of C, it's completely unsuccessful. Excellence holds his own, picks up a double elim in the process. B is going to start to get decapped and set back into the Knights of Honor's favor, but the man capping it has no HP, so that'll be very quickly stopped by Romeo, who can start ticking it back into Lazarus' favor.
Oh, that was a lot of damage done by that RPG out of Dobar there, and able to help the teammates clean up. The rest of the players are going to be there on the side of Lazarus, so they should be able to turn B back towards their side, and they're going to have A maintain now, so they have the 2-1. They have the point lead as well. They're already halfway through to closing out this map, and almost crushing the dreams here of Lazarus from getting through as a 1st seed. See if they can maintain this kind of pace here.
Point C is under attack.
C is also going to start to work its way under the control of the Knights of Honor. A looks like it has started to go back into Lazarus' favor, but they need more than this. Excellence trying to go for a BD cap on his own. May basically just be the end of him, but no, he's able to hold his own. Doesn't get the decap off, unfortunately. Only ends up going 1-for-1, but you can see Divine King and Lord Mono move in at the last second, coming out of spawn there, saving Excellence's crusade on the central point and allowing it to go into Lazarus' favor.
Even though we haven't said Romeo's name too often, he was actually the point leader for the team of Lazarus up until Divine King just got elimination streak and jumped from 120 to 189 points. Really what they needed to, because look how close this is. There's like a 30-point difference between the two. There's 2 minutes left to go. We need to see that 1,200 points cap to see what team will take home the victory and move into the finals, and what team will unfortunately fall into the 3rd, 4th place. And it looks like it's going to come down to a battle here towards B, but the knife comes in out of Dejani. Notorious comes in to take down Romeo. That Access is going to try to hold on. He does have a teammate there. And it looks like they're going to be able to maintain it, but the thing is, Lord Mono doesn't see Dobar sneaking in, and now T-Mac coming in from the other angle.
It's going to come down to these last few seconds here. Potentially who wins the next big fight, which is going on right now. It seems like Notorious trying to hold his own. Attempts to get a Blade Master off, but not enough damage. Romeo's going to take the win on that one anyway. Lazarus will start to push ahead. Just 30 points away from closing out the match now, unless Knights of Honor pick up some kills in the next few seconds. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. 30 points behind, but Lazarus still has the cap in their favor. And with that, and one final frag, they're going to drift over 1,200. So close for the Knights. They almost make a comeback there at the last second. They were just 20 points away from doing it, but sadly, it is not enough. So Lazarus come out on top, and we're seeing them push through into the grand finals.
That was definitely too close for comfort for Lazarus, and I think they're going to be happy now they have a break for the next semifinal to really collect their thoughts, because that was way too close for comfort. That was basically, like $4,000 potential loss right there, just by not winning that match. We'll see. I mean, again, technically, these things can still be tied up, even if they do get to win the whole. Actually, if they come second place, there's a tie breaker. I don't know how that happens or how we determine who's first seed. But now they have to set their sights on winning. They have to win grand finals to have a secured first place position.
I believe that there are like score mechanics in order to tie break that situation before it goes to another match. But
do you know them? I don't know them.
I don't know them, but I assume they're in place.
So we get to flip a coin.
I would hope that's not how that's decided.
That would be like a really bad way to lose out on like $4 grand.
I would hope that there would be like a best of one like death match, like showdown or something like that. You know, like sudden death match.
Just go to a roulette table. All right. One team gets red, one team gets black.
That's literally a coin flip.
It's gonna land green. No, it's
less
not.
than a coin flip.
49.
Yeah.
And then it lands green.
Well, what happens if it lands green?
49.5, 49.5, right? Yeah.
Something like that.
That makes 99.
So what happens if you... No, because there's 2 green.
There's 1 green. It's black, green, and red. You live in Vegas. You should know.
Yeah, but there's 2 green spots.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure. We can talk about this on the break, because we've got the next match coming up in just a few minutes, folks. Do stick with us, and we'll be coming back at you with more Guns and Boom action. And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Guns of Boom Challenger Series.
Just realize how loud you breathe. I'm sorry. I just hear like a... I'm sorry, continue.
Apparently we need to turn up the noise gate. But anyway, we're going into our second match now, ladies and gentlemen, where we are going to be seeing our current second place team in the region, DustTwo, and they're going to be going up against UnBreakable, who, I don't know why I said it like that. They're going to be going up who have not had the best season, unfortunately.
It's fine. He flew like 12 hours to get here, so I'll let you off.
I have no idea why I said their name like that.
How do you say it?
Sorry. I was like, UnBreakable. I don't know why I did it like that.
Your face is so red now. So UnBreakable, yeah, currently not in top 5, up against DustTwo, is currently second place at the moment. DustTwo need this victory. Well, they technically don't need it. They're qualified through no matter what.
Yeah.
But if they get this victory here and then they win the finals, there is a chance they can move through to first place and get through into the semifinals directly into the Pro Series event in Brazil, which means they double the amount of money that they're going to make without even playing a single match.
And that would be quite the upset to see them rise this far and really steal the first place position away, as they were way down to like 3rd or 4th if we go back a couple of weeks ago, and actually had this kind of meteoric rise because teams like ForZe and Noble unfortunately never really, having their chance in the Spring Series here to begin with, as they've said in the past that they're not super focused on these tournaments.
Why? Why? You got like nothing else to practice for at the moment. Yeah, you have Gods of Boom, but go to Brazil, make money. We're not ready. We were ready.
Personal time's important,
But you play once a week. How much personal time do you need?
I got scrims.
Yeah, but
they got to grind on their own.
But
racking up the
make
points.
money going to these events. You can see the world.
Yeah, they could.
The shining, shimmery glamour of the world.
They could focus on being the uncontested Gods of Boom champions of the world.
They could, yeah, it's not like you're hiding any like secret strats, I feel like.
Maybe they are. They're going to bring us some crazy stuff.
You're right, maybe they are.
It's going to be like...
It's in July, right?
It's going to be like...
Could have went to Texas, could have hung out with us. You could have had some barbecue, could have rode a bull, or got bucked off it as Lethal found out. Actually, that was I have a video of it. I'm going to ask production if I can give it to them, and then they can show it on air.
Dude got yeeted off that.
I think I didn't hear Lethal scream, yeet. He just got thrown off the bull.
It was funny, too, because it was so sudden. It was like, da-da, da-da, and then he just, gets launched off out of nowhere.
So someone paid the guy $100, like a tip, to buck him and Jackie off the bull.
It's a big tip. How much was it to ride the bull?
Probably, free or like $5 or something.
Oh my God, that's a huge tip.
It's Tom, Tom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just wanted to just get him off.
Yeah.
Just knock him. I'm surprised he didn't actually the bullet knocked him outside the pen. I would have loved to have seen that. Just Lethal shows up tomorrow with a broken arm. What happened? I gotta fight with a bull.
It's rough times with that bull in the bar. Which bull? And then they dig deeper into this.
What's his name? Do I need to go talk to his parents? Anyways.
Carl the bull. But yeah,
that seems like a terrible name for a bull.
It's like unassuming, What's that? What are you?
I was gonna say Bloodso. Bloodso the bull would be a better name than Carl the bull.
Well, there's the thing, right? You're about to go into a fight with a bull, or whatever the bull dodging competition or whatever that they do with bulls, and
it's not really okay. Yeah, the Matador.
Yeah, the Matador stuff. Yeah. So it's like you go into the competition, right? And they're like, all right, who do you want to go up against? You want to go up against Death or Carl?
You have a good point. I don't really have anything to contest that with. But what I can say is, so far off the bat, we do have the additional control of the point going to the red side of DustTwo. However, Collins, he's a newer player. We've had Beerus, we've had Jiren, Bino, and Collins. Maybe they're just trying to a new fourth, maybe looking into the next season. Definitely a newer player for the team that we've seen. Let's see name change, because Armace has switched between Armenian Ace and Armace 1,000 times. And he did ask to be spectated, so as you can see, we're complying with his contractual obligations to play by spectating him. But it is 160, 180 to 139. So we do have DustTwo at the initial start. And again, this is a victory they need. They need now to get through the finals and beat Lazarus to potentially double the prize earnings coming into the Pro Series event in, just a month in Brazil.
Almost a month. Oh, all right. See ya, Jiren.
He just yeeted himself out of the
I love how the props to our camera guy, by the way, for literally switching him as that happened and then just casually switching away.
It should be a special sound effect instead of the normal. It should just be It should be like the Roomba.
We just need the
video Roomba.
We need like the Jeopardy sound effect or the thing like dun 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 dun.
That's Price is Right.
Is it?
Is that the Price is Right?
I don't know. Is it? I thought it was like Wheel of Fortune. Is it the bankrupt sound from Wheel of Fortune maybe?
No, I don't know.
I forget where it's from. I'd have to look it up afterwards. But I know that sound. So at the moment, we still have DustTwo leading, but as you can see, UnBreakable about to make a comeback happen.
I think Price is Right when they lose. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, DustTwo seems to have cut ahead a little bit more of these last few seconds. Actually doing a pretty good job of cutting off rotates. Doran specifically, some good movement from him to, at minimum, delay his death by a few seconds there. And buy time for the respawns to roll back in there. So it still keeps it under control, relatively speaking, of DustTwo. And ultimately, they're going to be able to get the cap back. Well, not just yet. A little early there, Armis. There we go. Now they're going to be able to get the cap back into their favor.
Quick little note. There's actually a great documentary about a guy who is on the show, Price is Right, and he beat the system. He had such a good memory, he was able to remember like all the prices, and he like basically conned them to win. And he was helping out other contestants. It's a really good documentary I was watching.
I think someone was watching that next to me on the plane on the way over here, not even going to lie.
It was really good, yeah. I saw it on the flight. It was actually pretty good.
Someone was watching a documentary about The Price is Right, so.
Yeah. Anyways, so Doran gonna be flanking in from behind, gets an elimination streak on the board, but unfortunately for him, Jiren will take him down. But it seems like the damage was done for the most part. Look at Surgic. We've seen a lot of flanking routes, but to push into their spawn, basically, and hide into one of their own HUDs, they have nowhere to hide around the pillar, which is typically what you do to minimize that damage. They get a clean flank coming through. The teammates are there to respawn. They get the point back in their favor, and now they're 200 points away from closing out this first map.
Great lead being taken here by DustTwo, and unfortunately for UnBreakable, same positioning issues that we were seeing the last time we went to this map, where one team just gets boxed out of the center completely and doesn't really have any real way to initiate on it. And then Lord Beerus and Bino may have just found that route to do so. What's up?
Surgic's doing it again. Like he's pushing into that building, but it's so smart because it kind of counters like the excellence flank we saw in the last game of just coming around one of those side huts. That kind of applies so much more pressure. Now Arme, Spleen both tag up to get 2 eliminations themselves. Arme's looking for third. He'll get it. And now that should pretty much do it here. They have control of the point in a second. And it's just going to come down to eliminations. They even need the point here to win this first map, Blue.
Yeah, Spleen's going to be jumping on it anyway. He's actually not going to be able to get it, as unfortunately goes up against like 2 or 3 different players. But Armes can jump onto it, make sure the cap happens, and right about now, there we go. A little bit delay on that, but we do see DustTwo creeping right over that 1,000-point marker. And as such, they're going to take map number 1 of the series, pushing them ahead 1-0 and only 1 away from the finals.
Have you noticed DustTwo? Can we just show the lobby really quickly? Can we just hop into the lobby really quick and then hop back out to us? Because they're all sporting the Brazilian flag.
Interesting.
Because they're all going to Brazil.
No, I guess so.
They qualified. They know they did it.
I thought that was like based on your IP. I didn't know that was actually something you picked. So.
Well, why would they be playing in a European if they're from Brazil?
That's a very good point. Well, I thought maybe they, I don't know. Like, bit of a pointless observation, to be honest. But moving on.
UnBreakable.
Dude, I still don't know why I said it like that. Just happened.
Jet lag. It's jet lag.
Yeah. But we do have our players in the lobby still, so they're getting readied up right now, folks. Only a few seconds away from jumping into our TDM variant. Now, UnBreakable did a good job of skirmishing in the open with DustTwo. The problem, again, became map control. This was an issue that we saw in our last series on the same map as well, where one team was able to really just box out their opponents, prevent them from being able to do anything from spawn, and as such, giving them a lot of free time on the objective itself. Now, that's not really going to be as much of a problem in a TDM matchup as well. There's no objective to focus on. It's just purely based on kills. But obviously, if you still allow a team to get a majority of the map control and you end up getting spawn locked, you're going to end up still in a pretty similar position to where the second you walk out, you'll get melted by 2 to 3 different players.
I still just love how much taller than I am than you in these chairs.
I'm hunched over
all the way down. Hold on. Is your chair all the way up?
I think it is.
Even the game's laughing at you.
I heard that too. I was like, this could not have been timed worse.
The game even has my back on this. Anyway, so we're hopping, like I said, into our next maps. What were we gonna say?
This is me with like creepily good posture.
I'm kind of slouching a little bit.
Okay. Just rub it in, why don't you?
It's fine. I'm 6'6". You're below average.
You're definitely like full posture.
I'm not. I swear I'm not. I swear.
If not, your back is very straight.
That's full posture.
Okay, that's a little creepy looking, actually.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it.
Looks like you're like breathing in halfway.
What? I'm breathing in what?
Looks like you're breathing in halfway.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Oh, I see, because my head's back a little bit. Yeah. Like taking a deep breath. Gotcha. Yeah. Breath. I don't know why I said breath.
All right. Well, let's get into it, folks. Once again, as we generally expect in TDM, it's going to be a relatively close affair. We normally don't see a clear leader coming out of this until at least a minute or two into the round, and this game seems to be no different. Obviously, about a 10 or 20 point lead going Unbreakable right now, but that's very swiftly changing and going multiple different directions here.
I feel like you shouldn't wear any headgear that makes your head look bigger than it actually is. I feel like it's easier to aim at the head that way.
I wonder, well, the question is how much does it affect the hitbox, I guess?
Yeah, I would assume not at all, but it also does mean you're like peeking out sooner because like the nose is longer than like the normal models, so like they'll see you coming around a little bit quicker.
I can see that in the case of like that Jackal skin or something like that.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm referring to.
Yeah, this one right here, the one that Bino has.
It's a Jackal! Jackal! It's a Jackal! Jackal! Jackal!
Okay.
150 to 152. Unbreakable do have the lead at the moment. However, again, as you mentioned before, we're going to see very close score lines here, at least for a couple minutes into the game, unless someone makes a major mistake here. Armace now, trying to push towards the high ground. I think he does connect here with Surgical. Gets a nice little double. Does put him in the lead by about 40 points, and he's still relatively healthy, but you still see him burning down, missing a lot of HP. Lord Beerus can be rushed down! Oh, first it was Jiren, now it was Lord Beerus. As we should know, only Goku can't. No, he does actually. No, that was Vegeta. Vegeta's the one true suicider when it comes to Dragon Ball, but clearly Jiren and Lord Beerus trying to show him up.
Just like completely out of touch to the Dragon Ball reference.
So he's sacrificed himself to try to take down Majin Buu, but it didn't work. But he died because of it.
Well, that was a waste, wasn't it?
It was. But Vegeta's like never won a fight in the entire history of the show, unless you count like not real fights.
Gotcha.
Just like, you know, you and me playing 1v1 in any game, it's just not really a fight because I would win.
All right. I've got a challenge for you waiting.
Does it rhyme with mup bed?
No.
Oh.
It'll have to be when I'm home and actually have access to my PC. But we've got the Spleen moving in right now. He's going to be able to pick up a multi-frag for himself. Getting the Blade Master on Bino and the shoddy kill on Collins. He'll be taken down a second later by Lord Beerus, however. And we'll see Unbreakable slowly start to curve back into this.
Trying to, but we haven't really seen. The biggest lead we've had was about 30 points, and we're still not even at that. Well, of course, just as I mentioned it, Doran does come with a nice snipe. Doran's actually, again, like he's been so consistent like these last like 3-4 weeks. I feel like him and Romeo have really stepped up in the sniper position, really being like a strong backbone for the team hitting those shots. You can see Bino now trying to be on the high ground here for Unbreakable. Hasn't really been given too many opportunities. Still about 20-point difference, minute 50 left to go. I think this has definitely come down to points. Armace even get on the board. Actually, everyone's starting to snipe now. Only a couple of players left to use those shotguns in the close quarter positions. And Armace is trying to hold an angle here.
It's DustTwo trying to maintain that lead. There's only a minute and a half left in the game. Armace trying his best to dodge the flash, but
that's smart.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3 players peak at the exact same time. Yes, Armace does go down, but none of the other players take damage because of it. So that's what you need to do.
And that's what you need to do as well, because unfortunately, like, trades are to a large extent inevitable in this game, just due to how limited your health regen capabilities are. So eventually you're going to be like in a position where you only, nicely done by Doran, by the way, they're picking up the streak along with the triple elimination. It's going to give them a good amount of points. It's probably going to push DustTwo over the edge here in a second. But yeah, because deaths are so inevitable, it's really about trying to capitalize on it to the best of your own capability and making sure that you can at least try to go 1-for-1, if not exchange more heavily into your favor. But there you go, folks. DustTwo do end up getting the closeout here on their second map, meaning they take a 2-0 victory. Moving on into the grand finals, meaning we have that matchup set between Lazarus and DustTwo in the grand finals. And meanwhile, we're going to have the Knights of Honor and Unbreakable fighting for third place.
Yeah, so this is basically like the highlight match coming up. Not next, since we're going to the third place game, but the final game of EU is basically the highlight of the entire night. Since nothing can change North America, because there's 85-point difference between third and second place, and I'm pretty sure Enix is going to be able to get through into the semis or the quarters or just show up to get enough points. But this is going to be the highlight game. It comes down to, like, if DustTwo win, there's a chance they can take away that first seed. If Lazarus win, then they will maintain that first place position. And the third, fourth place match between Knights and Breakable just comes down to prize money. A couple, you know, 20, 30 bucks, 25 bucks, I think is the difference. And that's for the team, not even per player, so.
And it'll basically come down to whatever our tiebreaker situation is between Lazarus and DustTwo, because we do have the point totals confirmed now. If Lazarus loses, they'll be stuck at 475, and if we see DustTwo winning, they'll also be at 475. So
you know what we'll do? During the break, we'll talk to the admins and figure it out. Hopefully someone knows.
Definitely.
And if not, then I'm sorry.
All right, guys. Well, our next match is coming up. It's going to be the third place match first. So stick with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more European action here at the Guns of Boom Challenger Series. And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Guns of Boom Challenger Series. We're moving into our third place matchup here for Europe. I should really just start talking sooner. So.
No, just did you actually like halt? Excuse me, halt your breath there? Did you just like?
No, that's just like my breathing is just dead quiet when it comes to us. So. I don't think there's a noise gate on me, so.
Fine, no, Unbreakable. Gonna be here in the fourth place match. I think they should redo that tweet to say awesome dude who squeaks still.
It wasn't even a squeak. It wasn't even like a voice crack. It literally just like amplified it for some reason. It ended up sounding like that. Like,
it's a noise gate probably, right?
No, not in that instance.
Okay, so we'll move past that. We'll let it go, let it die here now. I won't bring it up again.
I mean, you can bring it up again.
Okay, I will be bringing it up again.
It's funny.
Probably every so often that I possibly can. As now Knight's going to be going up against Unbreakable in our fourth place match. Keep in mind, these two teams cannot, this music is perfect for this. They cannot qualify through into the Pro Series in Brazil, but they still can win a little bit of extra money here. Don't tell me that's how you dance.
I mean, when I'm sitting down at a desk, it is. But
there's one way to dance properly when you're on a desk. Not on the desk, sitting at a desk. I should change the way I say that.
Okay.
It's the dice move, you know. Or you do that.
Gotta add some, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta add some variation into it.
Yeah, you change it up. That's the two ways to dance when you're sitting at a desk. And there's two ways to play a fourth place match. Either you win it and you get through third place, or you lose it and you get through in fourth. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just trying to segue into the move back into the game here as we're kicking off. You're all
I'm
about
not as emotive.
You're all about your head movements.
Yeah.
Are they cueing this?
I don't think so. I think it just keeps working out to where it's really well timed for some reason.
All right. So
yeah, considering that,
maybe Blue will give us more than a head movement.
We'll stop dancing, I guess, since the music doesn't like us dancing.
Depends how many donations we get.
What?
Every $5 donation, we dance a little.
Just
bit
to
more.
clarify, there should not be a donation like anyone.
No, there's
on
none.
The stream.
If you see
so
one
if you
in chat,
see one, don't click on it because it's definitely a scam. But moving forward from that,
let me get on Twitch chat.
Yeah, just put my PayPal link.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we are going live now with our next matchup. It is our third place match. Like we said before, there's actually not a whole lot on the line for this one since the land positions are already predetermined. This is simply just, for points to finish off the season here, along with the extra money they'd get for the weekly cup.
Exactly. So I think we're probably going to be having a little bit more fun with it than more like super focused as we will obviously get through into our finals match coming up in a little bit of time here. But already off the bat, Knights of Honor, I wonder what happened with them because in the beginning of the season, they weren't performing that well. But like towards like the later halves, like after that like 50% of the way through, they really started to step up and they really started to get, like back-to-back wins. I mean, yeah, so the first 3 cups, they didn't make top 4. Cup 4, they made second place. Cup 5, they made second place. And then Cup 6, I don't remember where they actually got because that was last week. They did not make top 4 last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was one more cup where they didn't manage to make it into the top 4 that I recalled.
But they were playing like better and better. And I kind of, what could have happened if they started off the season better or, start off in a better way?
Probably could have ended up in a very close to a top 2 position, I would have guessed. Would have been contending with our other 3 teams for it. But unfortunately, was not the case, and they ended up showing up a little bit too late into the season or earn enough points to qualify. And as such, we are not going to see them in contention for these top 2 spots going to the land. At least not our Brazil Pro Series land.
What is happening right there between Carlos and Dejani? Just both missing shots, diving behind the haystack, which I don't think in real life could block a bullet. Pretty confident in saying that.
Yeah, no, probably definitely wouldn't.
Even if it's a thick boy, I don't think it can stop it.
That to be a very big haystack for it to block. I mean, it depends on the caliber of the bullet, all sorts of things.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna start wearing a haystack as like body armor. Just walking around. Just gotta beware of horses because they will definitely destroy that.
That's the instant like debuff. It just takes away all your hay armor.
I mean, like what? Like knives go through like Kevlar, right?
Yeah.
But like a knife won't go through a haystack.
Yeah, it's because
like horse will.
It's because like the impact and stuff like that.
Yeah. So a horse will. So that's the downside of having a haystack as body armor. But right now, look at the scoreline: 850 to 500. Knights of Honor are just tearing away with this game, honestly.
It just showcases the type of team the Knights of Honor is still growing to eventually become, in my opinion, where I think they are going to be a top contender in this region. Unbreakable, it's still kind of an unfortunate situation for them as we've continued to see them kind of decline, as you were mentioning, coming from the Winter Series into the Spring Series, and as such, they just haven't remained a top powerhouse in this region and have kind of fallen off, like we've said before, I think down to like 5th place in the region. Yeah.
No, they're below 5th.
Oh, 6th, excuse me.
Yeah.
So they're actually right below the Knights of Honor right now. So yeah, 6th place in the region overall.
Oh my gosh, what is this spanking, Blue? I haven't seen a spanking this bad since I misbehaved when I was a child.
That's very specific.
Actually, funny note, if my mom is watching, she'd love this. She actually broke a wooden spoon over my butt one time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I had to use like a belt. That was about it. But
yeah, that's the... Oof.
Belts don't break. I don't know why we're talking about this.
I don't know. I think we're like diving into a painful past of Blue.
I mean, you brought it up, not me. The Knights of Honor are going to take a decisive victory.
I just hope my mom didn't cook the wooden spoon after like using it on me before, you know?
I mean, you could just clean it.
It pulls out the spaghetti sauce and just hits me a couple times and puts it back in and be like, come on, Mom.
I don't know why.
I don't know. Because I hate spaghetti. Maybe that's why I hate spaghetti sauce. I don't like tomatoes.
You don't what?
Sauce.
You don't like tomato sauce?
Maybe I've just unlocked a key to my past, a key to my misfortune.
I mean, I don't like tomatoes, but I like most tomato products.
I like pizza.
Like if someone gives me like a raw tomato, I will not eat it.
Yeah, right. But like you give me a pizza with like tomato sauce on
yeah.
it. I used to not eat it with tomato sauce though. It was a special way of.
But pizza without tomato sauce.
I would. So our parents would get it without sauce for us. But my brother doesn't like cheese, but he eats pizza. So I don't know. We're just a weird family.
How does that even work? Like, does the cheese stay on, or like?
Have you ever had like cheesy garlic bread?
Yeah, that's not even a pizza.
Cheese can stay on.
That's not a pizza.
Bread, but
that's cheesy garlic bread.
Cheese can stay on bread without a sauce.
That's just cheesy bread.
Yeah, but it can stay on. You're asking, can the cheese stay on the pizza without a sauce? Yes.
The dough's different.
How?
It's a different type of dough.
What?
The cheesy bread is just like normal bread dough. Pizza dough is different. It's different flour consistency. This is like a basic cooking thing. You know, there's like different types of flour for different types of pastries. You know this, yes?
What's the I can't remember the name off my head. Like the tension you feel when rubbing against something, like if it's really smooth or not smooth.
Tension?
No, it's not tension, but like, you know, it's like stop. Like if I were to roll a pen, or not a roll, that's a bad.
Friction?
Friction. There we go. The friction on pizza dough is probably higher than on normal thing of bread. The friction variable.
I don't know enough to contest that, so I'm just gonna let it stand.
All right. You know what we'll let stand is this lead for Knights of Honor, 144 to 105. Again, we did say before we start, if you just join us, this match does technically not matter in terms of getting into the Pro Series since that is locked in now. There's a little bit of extra money on the side, about like 25 bucks, I think it is. So we're on a little bit more relaxed cast here, but Knights are just really tearing this home. Like they were up by almost 500 points just in the last map, if not more than 500 points. And I think they're actually about 600 if I'm not mistaken. And here they're up by about 50, which is not very often seen when it comes to TDM.
For TDM, it's, I mean, just looking at the last 2 maps we've had on TDM so far today, it's been pretty much neck and neck going up to the very last minute or so of gameplay when this is already a relatively definitive lead for the Knights of Honor compared to what UnBreakable have. Now, to be fair, the UnBreakable are still keeping relatively close and with a good swing into their favor. They could still bring this back relatively quickly. Like that are going to help to accomplish it. But
that's a feels bad when your T-Mac just like, all right, both of them just don't have weapons in their hand. I'm going to just spray them down. And you only got one, and that was from the burn tick coming through eventually. That kind of is rough. Notorious takes it a 1-4 exchange here up against Lord Beerus, but again, 50-point lead and maintained here for Knights of Honor. I still want to call them Knights of Need for some reason.
It's a copyrighted reference. We're not allowed to use that.
Is it really?
I would assume so, yeah.
Because I know I can't say Frisbee in another show that I do. Because Frisbee's copyrighted.
Yes, that's correct. They don't want the brand. The problem is if basically the issue is that if a phrase becomes like too commonplace, they could like lose their trademark on it.
Really?
So that's why like I
know the Happy Birthday song was like copyrighted.
Like you know how like Google has become a verb? That's a good example of that.
Yeah.
So like you can't like Google could in theory lose their trademark now because it's such a like you know, it's such a general term.
I'm not going to pay the millions of dollars it'll take in lawyer fees to contest that name. I'm not about that life.
Meanwhile, in the actual game here, we've seen UnBreakable actually come back quite a bit. They're only 4 points behind the Knights of Honor, and obviously both teams are within the last 100 points needed to close out the match. Knights of Honor are going to be able to push ahead pretty definitively, though, with 4 frags going in their favor. Completely wipes the entire UnBreakable roster. In terms of return damage, doesn't look like there was a whole lot done by UnBreakable there either. You can still see a few players, the Knights of Honor, working with shields at this point, not even down to HP. Jajani's probably going to be the first victim to this, and he even stands in the open to take some of that damage. But here we go. The trade's starting to roll in already for the Knights of Honor. Just one more frag away from closing it out, and for the first time really in a while, I think we get a team finishing it on exactly 500. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Knights of Honor are going to take map number 2, soaring through this matchup so far, and only one more map away from closing it out.
So I think we're kind of seeing... I think TDM is like a very frustrating mode, or can be a very frustrating mode, because it does really push you to like maximize your skill in terms of like trading damage efficiently, but at the same time, whenever you get like a wipe like that, when we saw UnBreakable like come back, they got a wipe onto Knights of Honor, it just means, okay, now they're low HP, and now Knights of Honor are going to come back in and wipe them out again. Kind of like back and forth,
yeah.
Because you're always gonna be low HP after these engagements. So I think it can be like a very frustrating kind of mode, where on like Controller, King of the Hill, it's all about playing around the objective where you get a lot of points from. And I think TDM is definitely one of those ones out there that really kind of like alienates some teams, where it just doesn't work in their favor. Like we saw, with Noble being more of like an objective-based team when they went up against Lazarus. When it came to TDM, they struggled a lot. It's definitely a different style. There's a lot of like mechanics you can carry over from the other modes, but I think it definitely is one of the most frustrating, I think, modes to play in, because of how like minuscule or how small a change could happen in one engagement can change the entire outcome of like the game. It's like a butterfly effect kind of thing.
Yeah, and on top of that, like how like one small mistake can also echo out pretty heavily towards the rest of the match too. Like take a bad duel or execute on a bad flank and end up losing it. All of a sudden, you've given over 15 to 20 points to your opponent. And we've seen with the leads that some of these teams hold that are only 15 to 20 points to begin with, the effect that something like that can have. So as a result of that, a lot of teams don't really try anything super risky, like trying to go for flanks or anything like that. They kind of just stick together and go for these big like head-to-head 4-on-4 fights to try and keep as many people alive as possible.
We didn't see many flanks there on military, but on Old Factory we see typically like a lot more. And there's like a note of like the mistakes you can make can really echo out. Like imagine, if you're ahead by 20 points, you're not peeking when your teammate's peeking, which then causes your teammate to die quickly, and then they come around the corner and get you as well. They go on an elimination streak to get even more points based off of that and really punish you even further. So now moving on to the Wild West Saloon, or of the Sheriff of the Prospect, as Blue says. As far as I remember that name, I forgot what I called it.
You just said Sheriff of the Hill.
Did I? No.
Yeah. We didn't innovate on the hill part at all. That's why I went for the prospect thing. Because the hill needed to be changed. It's not really a hill, it's
the sheriff of these parts.
Sheriff.
That's more correct.
I don't know why. That just sounds like so normal, but
I'm the sheriff of these parts. See? What's your business? Your business.
This is my saloon. You can get out of here.
What? I don't know. Take your horse and I don't know what accent.
It's not even like I think it's like a tourist like recreation of a Wild West town though, because if you look, there's like signs that say like
it could be like a theme park, yeah.
Yeah. Like if you look by the piano, I think there's a sign that says like "Don't touch" on it or something like that. So
that's like a surefire way to get me.
Yeah, right there.
That's a surefire way to get me to touch something. If you say "Don't touch it," like come on.
Supposed to do it. You just need a security guard to stand by. Although I don't think it would do much good in this universe, considering how much
how many guns there is.
Yeah, how many weapons of mass destruction are pretty widespread here.
I got an RPG next to me. Do you really want to not let me touch the piano?
Maybe I'm
gonna destroy it.
Guy in a suit with a sidearm will really stop everybody. We've got the Knights of Honor cutting ahead here to start things off. It's unfortunately been a very one-sided affair with this series going into their favor here so far, 2-0. Our deathmatch game on the last map ended up being relatively close at the end of it, but they still held a pretty definitive lead for the majority of it. It seems like, again, now that we've gone towards another objective-focused map, that they are once again holding that definitive lead.
Think back to the first map on Farming Complex. They won by like 600 points. It was like 500 to 600 points, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them get relatively close to that yet again here. We are going to see Lord Veers make a play here on towards these parts. It doesn't work out for him in the end now. T-Mac going to be there. The point going to be captured, actually, in the meantime here. And Dobar's just trying to stall, oh, look how low Bino is, actually. If you just, why peek? Okay, he got the point anyways.
To be fair, that was like, he probably wouldn't even seen that coming with how quickly he went down there.
Yeah.
But he managed to pick up a triple elimination before even going down. And actually, this is a good little swing we're seeing here from Unbreakable. It's more a question of how long it can last, because we've got the full respawn coming back in for Knights. They've got the cap back into their favor. Dobar's going to lose it in a moment, though. I think we got at least one more respawn coming back out. The nade onto the point won't stop the cap itself, but it will allow for Notorious to get some free reign to push onto it. He's not going to get the free decap off. Thankfully, teammates are moving in, but this burned out may still end up taking him down. He's got the health to counter it back out right now. But still, yeah, Knights of Honor ultimately do get back control of the point. And due to the lead they had, the little push that we saw from Unbreakable didn't end up making all that much of a difference. So in just a second, Knights of Honor are going to push over the 1,000-point marker and get the perfect series, a 3-0 for them, as they will claim third place for tonight's match.
And not to, I'm not trying to talk down Unbreakable. They do have like a different player in their roster this week. I think they realized, all right, this is some time to try out some players maybe for a 4th slot for them. And both teams knew going into this, there was just no way that they could actually get through into top 2 anyways. So having a little bit of fun with the game there. Knights, though, proving to be the better team, at least this week here. Proud of them. Proud to see what they can do coming into the future weeks. Because I think we still don't even know, technically, how the 4th team gets invited into the Gods of Boom event. I don't know if there's like a playoff for it. Maybe there's like a mini little event. I don't know if they're going to give it to NA or give it to EU or give it to Latin America or Southeast Asia. But we now have, what, a European team, a North American team. It would be cool if we get like a Latin American or a Southeast Asian team there as well.
It's got a little region variety, right?
Yeah, that would be cool.
But we'll have to see what the results of the Pro Series LAN will be, as that is going to decide who goes to the Gods of Boom event. Just as another reminder, folks, you've always heard us talk about it a few times today, but just to remind you once more, it's going to be on June 7th through the 9th. That's coming up in just a few weeks, almost a month exactly from now. So make sure to tune in for that. That's going to be our next big highlight event here for Guns of Boom Esports. And obviously, will take us to our penultimate event leading up to, I saw that. Take us to our penultimate event leading up to the Gods of Boom show. Yeah. He was very interested in the pen almost rolling.
I was trying to use the force to keep it from falling off the desk.
Didn't work though. Kept rolling. He had to use his hand instead.
Which is part of the force. Everything's part of the force, Blue.
I suppose so.
That's what Captain Kirk said.
But the final is also going to be part of the force of the stream, ladies and gentlemen, so stick with us, and we'll be having our grand final here for Europe coming up after the break. And after that, don't leave just yet, as we've also got North America coming up soon. Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. That wasn't even my fault that time. Welcome. I try to be quick. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
You have a nose, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'll do that on my nose, too, I think. Yeah, see?
Yeah, but you're breathing out. Breathe in. Couldn't hear it. Couldn't hear it.
I hear it.
No, we can hear.
I hear it. It's because it's in my head.
We can hear the hype and the momentum here. Can you hear it?
Do I?
Sorry. No, it is the final time here of our last cup of the spring season here for the Challenger Series, and it is a match that 100% matters here. Because if DustTwo can take this victory, there's a chance that they can take first place out of the region. Now, we did talk to our admins during the break before this last game. We don't know how it's decided yet. That's up to GI to determine how we figure out who does go through first seed if DustTwo win. Obviously, it comes down to if they win or not. We're thinking it probably is going to come down to head-to-head between the two teams and who has the overall victories when it comes to them. I want to say Lazarus should be winning in that. I don't have confirmation. I'm literally pulling this out of thin air.
Yeah, so I think just to be safe, if the teams end up in that tight situation, we are probably just going to call it on a tie for today, just because of the fact that it's going to take probably, I would guess, a few days to actually know the winner at this point. So if they end up in a tight situation, we're going to leave it at that. We won't go any further on today, and it'll be up to, like you said, it'll be up to the devs GI to decide who's going to be moving through to the lane.
Because the team just, they're like waiting, like, okay, do we get an extra like $4 grand for free, or do we have to like fight for it? You know,
it's just another team goes to the lane.
Yeah.
If they don't, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to win the whole thing, it's all about winning the whole thing anyways, and that big bucks there, you got to beat all the best teams. So it doesn't matter if you come through in the quarterfinals or the semifinals.
Well, guys, we are going to be starting in just a moment. Looks like we've got everybody except for Armaze running up at this point, so we're just waiting on him. And as soon as he is set and ready to go, we're going to be able to jump into the first map. Same map rotation as the previous series, so we're going to be starting out on Farming Complex, rotate over to the Military Warehouse, head over to Saloon, and then if we need the 4th and 5th maps, it'll be on Skyscraper and Atrium.
Yep.
Just writing that down real quick.
No, I have written down. I found a typo in my notes.
Did you really have to correct the typo in your notes?
I did. See, I did right there.
You don't just read around it.
What? You know what? I like to be efficient in my old school writing down notes with a pen and paper instead of a pen and a tablet.
I mean, it's basically the same thing at this point. One just
the music again was perfect. It was perfect. Whoever's on music today is just killing it. They are killing it. All right, so we're going to be hopping into game in just a few seconds. It's going to be our last match of today for the European side of things, and we'll be coming back for North America a little bit later on. So let's kick things off now as Lazarus is up against DustTwo here to see who potentially comes out as first seed and who comes out as second.
Let's take a look as we are going to see, unfortunately, the Spleen is getting run over at the start. Oh my goodness, 3 consecutive frags coming out there from Lazarus.
Did both teams send everyone towards A?
I think
BNC's not being touched.
I think literally everyone went to A at the start there.
I think this is actually going to favor out for DustTwo because they have B and C to take now. We'll just be careful what the rotates do, and they should have the health advantage on the rotates as well because they lost it in the last fight, but Divine King is still 103 points? 30 seconds into the game? Wow.
The enemy captured point C.
Where did he get all that from? I guess he just picked up a majority of the frags in that initial fight since they were like a resounding winner of that, and then probably got some multi-elims off of that as well. So a lot of points going his way regardless. No one else except for the Spleen really able to contest with that. He's also had a few pickups himself, but even after the chaos, the dust kind of settles here. It's still in the control of Lazarus, even without the point lead at this point. But we are going to end up seeing a little bit more work being done here by both DustTwo and Lazarus trying to get some backcapping done. A is being stolen away by DustTwo. C was recently taken by Lazarus, but is actually being lost at the moment. So DustTwo seems to be doing a much better job of just overall map control compared to what Lazarus is bringing to the table right now.
Thing is, though, DustTwo was behind by quite a few points in the beginning, but look at this now. They're actually in the lead by a good well, I was going to say 50, pretty much almost 100 points, about 80 is of how well they've been able to play together. I still found it was so interesting to see both teams send everyone towards A off the initial get-go. And again, Armaze still looking to fight it out. Gets a nice little double elimination himself. Exon's trying to fight back as they do trade about 2 for 2 here. But they're down over 100 points now, Blue. This is not looking good.
Not for Lazarus anyway here, but they are going to have a double cap more than likely in just a second. As I say that, though, it looks like C's probably going to end up hitting back half. Yep, Surgic's already jumped onto that one, so they will lose C in a moment. No one else from the side of DustTwo going to be able to rotate over to stop that. And actually, this is a pretty definitive cap going into the favor of Lazarus right now. DustTwo, though, stealing away C control, along with B.
And A in the second.
Yeah, A's going to get destroyed. A's getting back up too. They are going to lose B, but as long as they control A and C, they can very easily leverage those 2 points into overall map control and allow for that to push them way up towards 1200. Nice shot from Doran.
By the way, Doran does have the highest perfect aim % out of any player. Actually, hold on.
I'd believe it.
Do I have it written down?
Otherwise, I
remember I brought it up like a week or two ago.
You need to watch this action unfold here. Surgic's going to be able to snipe off another player with the RPG. Spleen also picking up an initiation frag to start pushing into the B site. It looks like they are going to be able to more than likely leverage this away. At minimum, they get the decap once again. Now, A, remember, was briefly under the control of Lazarus, but it looks like DustTwo are going to start to take back control of B. They get the full cap in their favor. C still under their control as well, so this is only going to serve to push them further and further into the lead at this point, unless we see a back cap coming in from Lazarus very, very soon.
Okay, I don't have the stat, but I know by far he is way ahead of everyone else. Boy Scout was able to point that out a couple weeks ago. But yeah, what, 150 points left to go here for DustTwo as they're still maintaining over a 100-point lead, at least in its current state, because A and C is going to be going the way here of Lazarus, and B is going to be overcapped in just a few seconds as well. So this is Lazarus' big chance here to make a big play, to try to close this distance, try to potentially take the lead, which they might be able to do here. But you can see DustTwo trying to fight back by sending everyone over towards this A position, get one, capture point on the board, because they're still maintaining the 100-point difference. And it comes down to if they just get some eliminations here, they can close this out.
But Divine King being forced back. Excellence picking up the next frag. And Lazarus, they're actually doing it right now. The problem is that they got to get this decap against DustTwo. They also can't really lose anyone at this point. They're so close to rounding the comeback, and they might just make it happen. They've taken the lead now. They're going to push ahead, and it looks like they might be able to steal. Oh! 12:01 to 11:99. I think that's the closest matchup we have ever had. Lazarus, however, will take it at the end of the day and claim map #1 of the series.
That calls for a dance, Blue. Show us what you got. All right, can't complain. It was better than...
I had more movement in it that time, so...
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was good, but...
I'm not saying it was bad. But anyways, that was a great little comeback. What, they were down by like 100, 150 points, and they're able to like fight their way back in. They had triple cap towards the end. You saw... I didn't see who the last player was on the side of DustTwo, but he just rushed out because he realized like one elimination could win us the game, which is why they got to 11:99. But the one elimination wasn't. He eventually did fall, and somehow Lazarus come back in the nick of time.
Quite literally, as they win it by a single...
What is a nick of time?
I don't know, actually.
Is it like a parsec? That's distance, I guess.
Give me a sec.
Is there like actually, like a few is like normally 2? No, a couple is normally 2. A few is like 2 to 3. Is nick like, is there a measurement?
The term began life as in the nick and dates from the 1500s when nick meant the critical moment. However, the meaning is now obsolete. So.
You know what? That definition is obsolete because I liked it. In the nick of time, they come back with the victory by 2 points, technically winning by 1 there at the end, and they get the lead. And now DustTwo have to fight back, being down a map here to have a chance to take that first seed. So Lazarus, and we've been talking about this whole thing of, if DustTwo win, they have a chance of taking first seed. Well, if Lazarus win, then we've been wasting our breath.
Yeah, pretty much. So obviously if Lazarus takes it, they just have the definitive lead coming out of this one, and they're in the first seed position in the semifinal spot.
You didn't hear that, did you?
No, I heard.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You heard me do the...
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
I missed that. I thought you something else.
We got there eventually.
Well, either way. Oh my God. Sorry, I think I just choked on my dinner a little bit there. But we have the players from Lazarus in the server now. It looks like there's maybe like a little bit of lag from Divine King, so I think we're just waiting on him to sort that out. And then as soon as we're good to go, we'll jump into the second map here. It's going to be TDM once again that we'll shift over towards, and we will get to see if Lazarus can once again pull off another stunning victory, or if it'll be a little bit more definitive this time into their favor. Potentially, of course. This could be the same thing, but for DustTwo's luck as well here. They're looking to tie it up at 1-1 and take this series the distance. They certainly want to do so, obviously, in terms of what it would mean for them if they actually win this series.
So I was actually looking at this. We have a monitor right here, and like it right here. Yep. And there was a pop out so you can chat. I almost tapped it and started to try typing.
That would be a big tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Like 24.
I would probably be the best Guns of Boom player on that if it was that big.
See, I don't know if like a bigger screen gives you a bigger advantage.
Are you doubting
these
my
types of
skills?
Games. Well, no, I'm doubting the science, because like, would a bigger screen really give you that much more? Because there's some like like I've played some games on my tablet, and it's like I find it more convenient to play it on the phone because you can have your hands closer together.
Look at any FPS game, any like top pro normally does not play standard resolution. They always play stretched to make the models bigger. Models would be bigger on a bigger screen.
But it'd be the same like display ratio, wouldn't it?
It doesn't matter because your eyes can see it, see the models better.
I guess. But like considering you're playing with a touchscreen though, like your hands are now further apart.
So
it's not as like.
Do I need my hands right here to play? Or?
I don't know. I just like. I can't. I don't know if I can show my phone on stream, so I'm not gonna do that. But I was gonna try to like show my phone. Like, so here's the thing: if your hands are like close together, I feel like you can like manipulate it easier. At least from my experience.
Have you ever played on a Switch?
Compared to like this, where it's like you gotta hold them like super far apart and everything like that. I can show this. There's no branding on it.
Yeah, but you have Joy-Cons for the Switch, right?
Yeah, but that's like a physical.
Many times played with like my hands under like the fold-out thing on the flight.
That's like a physical controller though.
Yeah, but your hands are far apart is what you're arguing.
Yeah. So the thing is though is when it's in a fixed ratio like this, where it's like it has to be on either corner of the screen or whatever, I feel like to a certain extent it might be better to play with a phone because everything's. I'm trying to just hide this on the show. Because everything's like closer together like this. Like it feels more like a controller when you do it like this. You know what I'm saying? Like a standard.
I feel like this is just a mental block that you have.
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. Do you people think the same? Let us know. On social media.
Let us know. Where can they let us know, Blue?
Social media, the ESL Guns and Boom channel, or our own personal channels, or just in the chat. We're not looking at the chats. We can't really comment with you on that. But
did you know that players scored 660,945 points in total?
Didn't know that. Did you?
I did. That's why I said it.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Well, here we go, folks. We are going live with the second round now. Apologies for the delay. Like we said before, it looks like there was one or two players that had some lag issues.
Oh my
We're just
God.
working on solving that. As we are going to see, as we expect, a pretty crazy trading spree of frags here. With neither team taking a definitive advantage, Lazarus seems to be coming out slightly ahead of the gates, though.
Whoever invented ragdoll physics deserves a promotion. Just seeing someone's like feet go over their head like that is
I think it was an accident, really. I don't think anyone invented it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like not supposed to happen in a lot of games. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'd be curious as well.
Oh, I love it. Always makes for great little frags. Makes things feel even better.
It's always funny in like Dark Souls games because you can literally just like push stuff around after you've like killed it.
Yeah, but then they get attached to your foot and it's just like awkward.
That's like some of the most hilarious ragdoll physics though, because it literally just has like no weight after you've killed it.
I was thinking of like UFC and like some of like the things in the games you see from them.
Oh yeah.
Like doing the helicopter, he just flies away or he gets like thrown through the cage. Good stuff here. Anyways, back to the game. 134 to 173 now for DustTwo. With a Spleen getting elimination onto Romeo, it does give them a nice little lead. But again, the snipers, I think, are going to still be so prevalent and so important. And I think that's what we're starting to see. You know, was it Romeo up against Dorn? Like, that's a matchup that I think is like one of the best you're going to see when it comes to EU Guns of Boom. Because they're both just so prolific in their sniping.
We're going to see Armace working up with the Spleen right now to try to push out Excellence. The nade's not really going to do any damage here, but the Spleen, well, actually Armace will be able to pick up the kill against Excellence here, taking him down, keeping DustTwo in a very slight lead here. We're actually probably end up seeing the Spleen. Yep, he'll get burned out. Fortunately, as a result of the dot, he'll get taken down there. Doran also trying to look for some frags in his own regard here, but not able to find them so easily. Still, though, with DustTwo in the lead by about 30 points at the moment. They're going to hold ahead, and they can switch to a more passive playstyle now. But no, won't be the case. Lord Mana is able to push out along with Divine King. Both players pick up opening frags, and just like that, Lazarus are now in the lead.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit early to be playing passive here. I feel like you're not going to feel confident enough, and time isn't really too big of a factor. Though you could use it to waste a lot of time for their opponents. But the lead doesn't really show that that's something you can do at the moment, since there's only a 10-point difference between the two. It's basically like the one elimination coming through. Armace gets the nice little Blade Master and Lord Mana. But unfortunately, Dorn did fall before that, and you can see just how close it is. Just one or two elimination just separates these teams from the lead.
Dorn again trying to snipe from inside of his spawn. It's looking like Romeo's getting the better of the sniping spree at this point, though. He's been able to take out Surgic just a few seconds ago. Armace, in the meanwhile, working with the Scout to run up, misses a player right next to him. Those Lord Ma's going to get some great opening damage, and actually ends up winning the fight. Unfortunately, will go down, but at the very minimum, he guarantees the 1-for-1 that he otherwise would not have gotten.
See now Dorn again gets a nice little perfect aim off. Didn't catch the shot, but we did see it on the screen. Still keep them within arm's reach. arm's length here up against Lazarus, who's looking to take a 2-0 lead in the series, potentially close this out in a 3-0 fashion, and pretty much force the admins and GI to not even need to make a decision of who actually takes that first seeder to calculate it out. Especially at the rate they're playing now, 80 points left to go here, and Lazarus will have that second map done. DustTwo going to be trailing behind by about 50 here. They need to be careful. They need to stick together. Time is going to start to become a factor as Lazarus can start to really play with it if they want to. And there's going to be a 1-for-1 trade there, but it should favor, in the end here, the side of DustTwo. They close the distance to now about 20 points.
It's going to come down to the wire once again, just like our previous matchup.
501 to 499. Let's see it.
Timing won't be a problem here. It's just a matter of who gets the kills first here. And it's going to come down to the wire. Romeo ending up getting pinched, tries to take high ground. He's got Lord Mao to support him from the bottom. However, their opponent they were looking to take down did shift away, but Romeo still guarantees the kills. He pushes over the top. Problem is that overexposes him, leaves him in the open for Spleen to find the trade. Romeo, before he ends up going down though, ended up getting enough damage onto the Spleen to take him out. To Lazarus, so just a single frag away from winning. DustTwo might be in the same position though, depending on if they can get any bonus points from the frag itself. So we will see the Spleen picking one up. Only brings him to 489, however. Next kill wins it.
That was a good job by Spleen to actually save our Mace, who's going to potentially be rushed down. You saw the player try to go for that elimination just to close it out. 48 seconds left to go. Doran's low on HP, and Doran will be the one to fall. And DustTwo, unfortunately, lose out on the second map here, putting Lazarus now one map away from guaranteeing themselves that first place position, coming into Brazil. And of course, the extra moolah in their... I thought I had a pocket. In their pocket as well.
In their pocket. There you go, I have a pocket.
Yeah,
you messed up there a bit.
I'm actually... Why are the shirts with pockets and without pockets?
Because...
You actually put anything in that pocket?
I mean, like, if I worked in an office, maybe. You could put, like, a pen in there or something like that.
Would you? I feel like I'd rather put it in my pant pocket because I don't want, like, the ink to leak out.
Well, that's why you get a pocket protector if you're, like, really okay. That's literally the point of a pocket protector, is so you don't get, like, ink in your pocket.
Well, now you're just crossing the line here with me.
See, look.
Yeah, but look how stupid that looks.
It probably looks really stupid.
Yeah, well, people will hopefully see when we come back.
I'm going to see it in a second here. I haven't actually seen it yet.
506 to 489 was the finisher there. Lazarus won. That looks so stupid. Pointers facing up.
All right, I'll flip it around.
Come off. Here, put it in.
What are we doing?
No, don't. Look at the pen before you put it in, bro.
Oh, sorry. Almost. Okay, we can do it now.
I don't want to do it.
All right.
Here's my pen holder.
That's in my shirt.
You can keep that pen now.
So all these pens I have now.
I hope you show up next week. Actually, no, I can't even show up next week because there's no show next week. Yeah, actually, it's something we should mention. Next week we won't be having a Guns a Boom show for you. I think we're on hiatus until the following week after.
Might be longer than that, actually.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
In my schedule I have, I'm doing it the week after. I'm in the schedule I have right now. I'm doing it next week too. So I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be all alone with no production. I'm gonna be casting. Sorry, one more time.
It looks like 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, we'll be back with some more Guns. Okay.
So not the next week, but the week after.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you'll be missing out on us next week. But don't worry, our pretty faces will be coming back shortly. 18th of May. There we go. Thank you very much. So yeah, that'll be our next show. But we still have North America to come up after us, anyways. North America, though, more of a done deal than EU. This is probably like the pinnacle match we have tonight because over North America, I mean, Impact are 125 points ahead of second place, so they physically cannot lose first place. And second place is 85 points ahead of third place.
So yeah, pretty definitive, pretty setup.
Decisive, yeah.
Already there in North America. So once again, it'll probably just be for the prize money that comes with the Weekly Cup, along with for fun more than anything, and practice with these teams is going to be the focus for that matchup. However, we still have this final here in Europe. You see the winner come out of this one, which could have some pretty serious implications for the LAN finals. It's over to our third map, which could decide it if Lazarus take it. Time to go back to the Wild Wild West and see if we can have a winner. Not gonna lie, I like that movie.
I liked it as well. People hated it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, like, structurally speaking, it was a terrible movie. Like, absolutely terrible.
But Will Smith doesn't do bad movies.
Well,
name a bad movie.
That Will Smith was in?
Yeah.
That one he did with his son.
Okay, yeah, but
After Earth.
But his
was
son
awful.
Just throws things in the spanner. It's just like a wrench. Okay, so apparently we're coming back here. Some issues for DustTwo yet again, though. I think technically, I think they just forfeited. Because you're not allowed to do that after an elimination.
Did everybody leave?
Yeah, everyone DustTwo left.
Yeah, they might not be allowed to do that.
Technically, that's a forfeit, according to the rule books.
We'll leave that to the admins,
You're not allowed to do that. Because now they're just forcing restarts. Okay, so it wasn't forfeit.
Yeah.
But you're technically not allowed to restart once a kill has happened. So I don't know
Like I said, admin's decision ultimately, they said it is a fair game. So they probably pre-approved it or something like that before they actually did it. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be restarting that match really quickly, guys. So do stick with us here for the next few moments, and we'll be jumping back into that here as we continue the talk. But yeah, After Earth, terrible movie.
Yeah, but it's Jaden. Like, of course he's
You just said that Will Smith doesn't do bad movies.
Yeah, okay. When his son's not in it.
You didn't add that.
Well, I'm adding it now. When his son's in it, of course it's gonna be a bad movie. I don't know what.
Like Jaden Smith hasn't just made bad movies either. He was in that Karate Kid remake, and that was pretty good.
I never saw it. I should have, because Jackie Chan was in it.
He messed up. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good remake.
Very good remake.
What was it remade from?
Do you want me to be harsh?
I mean, yeah. Let's finish the mythos now.
No, I'm not. I don't want to get fired, okay? It almost happened last week. We don't need to have it happen again.
All right, guys. Well, once again, we are just working on restarting map number 3 very quickly. And as soon as we have all of our players back on the server, it looks like there's, again, some issues with lagging and whatnot, so we're just making sure that that is all fixed before we start the game and potentially lock players into a situation that they cannot back out of. Very important that the players are with good conditions and all that here. All right.
So I'm just reading through the chat, make sure. Yeah, so DustTwo is the one's having issues. Hopefully the lobby's being remade really quickly. Hopefully we'll be hopping into this in a second, because when we start to fill air, things become really bad. You know what I will do? Hold on. Actually, you know what? You can do it, because you can get to it quicker on your tablet. Look up the Latin American and the Southeast Asian current standings over on play.eslgaming.com.
Yep, let's look. Oh, we're actually going to be starting.
No, you hit Europe.
Shut up.
Latin America. What's the standings currently in Latin America?
Actually, relatively close between...
25 points between Brazucas and Notorious.
Yeah, Brazucas and Notorious, so that one could potentially swing still. But we can talk more about this in a moment, guys, as we are back into the action here now on the Wild Wild West.
Independence Day 2 was not that great, though.
No, that was awful, in my opinion.
I just watched one of his movies. It was on Netflix. It was about, like, there's like a magic world, like there's like orcs and elves and stuff.
Oh, Bright.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Critically, that was a terrible movie.
What do you mean critically? You mean like the critics?
Like from a lot of general film standpoints.
You know what?
That movie, structurally speaking,
don't tell me I'm not allowed to enjoy a movie.
The world building in that movie was great, but it was just like the plot was like they tried to build too much of a world without actually making a plot to that movie. That was my issue.
Your face is a plot, all right? Lazarus up 238, 240 now to 209. A plot of land in the Wild West is where I was going with that one. Not about your face.
Best movie theme song ever, though.
It was his Men in Black ones are great too.
Yeah, the Wild Wild West one was better, though. In my opinion. Got Lazarus holding on to strong control as they're going to look for the 3-0 closeout here. DustTwo are trying to work into the saloon and trying to leverage control from the bar, I would imagine, to push back out into the point. And we're going to see 2 of them at least trying to do that now. Spleen tries to flank in from the backside, but he's going to take a lot of damage. However, it still looks like DustTwo is making some progress with this push here. But no, Divine King holds it back, gets the double elimination, and sends Lazarus past the 420-point mark.
Oh, I was going to say Doran. Excellence comes in with a nice little snipe from distance. Armace able to take down Excellence. There's still a big lead here for Lazarus, even though they haven't had control of the point for a decent amount of time here. Lord Miles hoping for some reinforcements to come in, but at the same time, the longer he takes to be eliminated, the longer his team's going to have to wait for the respawns to come back through to make a proper push. Now Excellence takes on 1. Romia's looking for another, so they will get 2 here on this one. But it's not done just yet here. You can still see the reinforcements from both sides able to get back to the point as quick as possible. Constantly dropping down into this in the split. I like his position actually from distance over there. You don't really check that angle too often, especially when he comes from the high ground.
Come on up. Still trying to deal some damage here against the 2 players from DustTwo that move in for A control, but it's not really going to work out. It's going to come down to Romeo to try to steal it away, but even he can't get it done. Armace, the last real defender here before they rely on respawns, is going to get pushed off, but it looks like he bought just enough time. Respawns are in position, and now DustTwo have not only taken the lead, but they're starting to solidify it here. Someone's going to have to jump. Oh, never mind. I was going to say someone's going to jump onto the point contest, but Doran puts a quick stop to Excellence's push.
Doran should fall here. Yeah, he didn't really get much damage off of that. Divine King's going to be there. He gets himself a double, and that actually might be exactly what they needed to get this point. It's a triple coming through. He's not able to take down Armace for the quad, but Armace will fall eventually as he tries to contest the point last second here. And Lazarus should be able to take the point back. However, Surgic's running back to you as quick as he possibly can here. And I think actually Lazarus might not even be able to maintain control. Dorn is just going ham here, 237 points. He's leading the entire game.
DustTwo overall doing a really fantastic job of, first of all, leveraging the amount of time between their respawns to make sure they keep constant pressure on this point, along with just denying Lazarus, getting these, insta-kills against them and being able to take them out with relative ease. It's really done a number on Lazarus, and as you're going to see in just a second here, it's going to make it so that Lazarus will finally lose a map. DustTwo are going to be pushing over to 1,000, and there you go. They will take their first map of the series, setting us up at 2-1 overall. Come back now in the cards for them.
310 points for Dorn, by the way.
Quite a game.
Fix my shirt. 310 points. That's pretty damn good. I mean, he was leaps and bounds beyond ahead of everyone in the actual server there. Really did well. And maybe, yeah, so now, okay, well now that we're moving on to a fourth map, let's just push past that one. And we'll be over on the skyscraper, so back to some TDM here.
So it'll be TDM one more time. This is where we saw Lazarus taking control before, but again, it wasn't necessarily definitive to any means. This is also a very hard map, in my opinion, compared to what we went to before, where the map tends to be relatively, symmetrical and even in terms of giving teams, a general chance to try and close out. But in a moment here, we are going to be heading over to Skyscraper for it, which has that very definitive central room that a lot of teams try to go for control of, and it seemed to play into the fact that if you hold control of that room, you are very much going to control that map. And that obviously gives teams quite an advantage if they're able to push into there early and get control of that to leverage later on into the match.
All right, so just waiting for everyone to reconnect back in. We're waiting for Dorn now. And of course, all of the teams to ready up, and we should be getting this one underway. We're going to find out if we can see DustTwo come back in the series after being down 2-0. Maybe they can pull off a hat trick, taking 3 straight, and get themselves into that opportunity from taking first place here out of Europe. Southeast Asia. So let's go back to what we were talking about before. So we have Latin America. We look at the current standings over there. We have Brazuca's in first place by 25 points. Only one team comes from Latin America. And over in Southeast Asia, or you can keep going. I don't know. Who do we have in Southeast Asia? Blue, one watch so you can see the tablet.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
I mean, if you would talk, it would.
You were talking. You're like, I'm gonna just do this. We've got
you were the child who just complained like, Mom,
it's my turn.
Susie took my calculator again. She took my pocket protector.
It's my turn to talk now. Cyclones, however, are currently leading in the SEA region. Sorry, I didn't figure out what the region was. The SEA region as well.
How many points?
By over 100, so they are secured. There is no chance for the Indian Wolves, who's in second place at the moment, to take that seeding away from them. So it's 100% going to be Cyclones heading to the land from that region.
Knocking on wood.
Unless they get DQ'd by some.
Well, no. So no, the Southeast Asia team came to the Pro Series Texas because their visas were like declined. They didn't get visas.
Yeah, that's.
Which is why we had an extra North American team there. So
that's a bummer.
So if they get their visas, they'll be coming.
Hopefully Brazil's a little bit easier to get visas for. So
yeah, it kind of sucks being American trying to get into Brazil, but because America's like so difficult to get into with visas and stuff and to get a visa, Brazil is like, all right, well screw you guys, we're gonna make so you need a visa to get in our country as well.
Yeah, Brazil just has basically like an eye for an eye policy on visas, to where like if they make it easy for their people to go into a country, then vice versa. But if it's difficult, then they also do the same thing. So. Interesting little tidbit of world politics there. But we'll get into our next map here now, as we're going to see Doron trying to pick up some early frags once again on the Thanatos. He'll be able to find one already here. So we are going to see once again that very, very even trade between both teams to start off the map, with neither one getting a decent lead to start things off.
There you go. Armis gets a relatively clean elimination there. Excellence in the middle room, going to fall. Romeo is going to push out by himself now. And that was a relatively clean sweep. His Armis gets a nice little triple on the board. Puts him at about 30 points in the lead. Now, Lord Mono, is he going to be hurt?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I guess he will be hurt. Now he's going to be up against 2. Yeah, he gets some decent damage down, but nowhere near enough if he was in like a 1v1 situation there. So that's going to be, oh my gosh. Excellence not looking behind him. Spleen takes him down. Now this is a big lead now built up here for DustTwo. Again, the sniping is just being so important. I feel like Dorn just put out so much damage. The score doesn't really reflect it just yet, at least in his individual score. But he's just been this really big staple for the team. He's like wheat. It's a really strong staple in most foods.
I thought you were going to go a different direction with that, but okay.
What? Where do you think I was going to go? The wheat.
I thought you were going to just stay on the staple thing and say like he's really holding this stack of papers together or something like that.
Why would wheat have to...
What?
Why would wheat
No, you said staple first. So I was going to assume like office supply staple. Like
a staple food or something.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I got that
common
now,
and like highly used product.
Wasn't the definition that I immediately popped in my head, unfortunately. We've got the push coming out from DustTwo into the main building, where Surgic is going to be able to pick up a double elim. The Spleen will actually get a third for himself. Only one trade here so far from Lazarus. Once again, it is DustTwo cutting ahead, not really giving Lazarus much of any hope to work off of here in the early game.
I'm still stuck on thinking how I would make staple work in this game.
I just explained it. You could say, like, he's really holding this stack of papers together.
Yeah, but what paper is he holding?
The papers is his team. You know? He's holding...
Why would you need a staple to hold 4 pieces of paper together? Wait, don't answer that. 334 to 255 now as DustTwo going to eventually be overrun inside the central room here. So she's going to come in with a rocket and kind of connect directly onto the teammate of Lord Mono, as eventually going to be finished off by Armaze trying to come in from the side, and they're still maintaining this lead. It's only 80 points right now. It's starting to slowly slip, but it is a lead nonetheless, and the lead is ever so massive, especially when it comes to TDM compared to the other modes.
Basically learned here today that Jason's a big fan of paper clips. That's all we've learned here. So
no, you fold the corner of the papers. You don't have to use a staple. Better for the environment.
Or you just use a staple like a normal person.
I mean, if you want to see the world burn, then sure.
Okay. We've got Doron picking up his next exchange. As Lazarus are coming closer to running this comeback. They
Divine just got both.
Improved their situation.
Divine just took down both players. They must have actually both been at low HP. I thought Doran was just kind of baiting for Spleen there to help him out. Anyways, 20-point difference here between the two. Now 35 here, Spleen gets on the board. A minute 30 left to go. There's a chance we could come down to time, depending on the pace these two teams play. It seems like DustTwo have given control of this central room over to Lazarus at the moment, but Armaze needs to stop peeking, but with a nice rocket coming through, threads the needle and gets a 1-for-1.
So 422 to 454. It's again going to come down to the wire here, but DustTwo still, for this late in the game, has a pretty definitive advantage. Lazarus, unfortunately, cannot afford to hand over many frags at all here. Armaze trying to peek in, but he might just end up knocking himself out as a result of that. No, the Spleen's able to make him push his push forward. The problem is they both run into a knockout situation there, but Lazarus still making some good progress with Excellence and Romeo, picking up the two most recent frags here. Now just about 20 points behind what DustTwo have to work with. Doron, however, finding another pickup here for DustTwo, sends them further into the lead. 2 more kills follow that one up, and it's DustTwo to win map number 4, sending us to a 5th and final map to decide our winner of this series.
I think DustTwo want to I don't know. I was going to staple on that one either.
Staple this victory together.
It's like Night at the Roxbury. It's a little bit. Yeah.
Disco music.
Disco, good. Anyways, DustTwo take the victory here, tie things up at 2 apiece, and are running the gauntlet here as they bring us to our last map, and probably one of the most sided maps we've seen in the pool here on Atrium. I think out of like the 2 times I've seen it now, not including Pro Series event in Texas, it was a landslide to one team.
And it seemed like that was certainly the case for DustTwo, at least coming up to the very end there. To be fair, Lazarus was down by like almost 100 points at one point in the game there, so they did make a pretty decent comeback in the match. Unfortunately, it was too little too late, and they still ended up being down by about 50 points there at the end of the game. And obviously DustTwo finishing up those last few kills relatively quickly, shot them right at the 509, where they were able to get the closeout on the matchup, potentially allowing them to complete the reverse sweep now in our 3rd and final map.
This reminds me of a Billy Idol song.
I don't know that many Billy Idol songs.
You spin me right round, baby, right round. That's
It's not Billy Idol.
I know. Who is it? I know it. I know it.
Hold on.
But that's what it sounds like to me.
I can kind of see it.
Country Club or something like that?
No.
They do the come.
Dead or Alive.
No, it's not. No, that's not the song. That's not the original. Yes. No, that's not them.
What? That's
not them.
That's the original.
That's not them.
That's definitely the original. I'm not going to play
right
it.
round, baby, right round, like a record baby round.
Yes, that's literally what I'm looking at.
That's no way them.
That is them.
Whatever.
It's by Dead or Alive. If that's not it, tweet at us.
I thought it was by the guy who sings the Chameleon song. Come a chameleon.
I don't think so.
Nope.
I think you're wrong.
All right. Anyways, Atrium should be coming up in a second. I think we're just waiting on a couple players to ready up. Yet really looking.
I mean, you could keep talking.
You could. All right. I swear I thought it was someone else.
No, it's definitely this
Okay.
guy.
Well, anyways, the song's gone anyways. Moving into more of an Oriental theme here with this one.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah. He's wrong. It's definitely by Dead or Alive. Okay. I'm not really using it right now.
It's fine. This is worth a couple €100. So we are going to drop in.
Like 800 euros. But
This.
yeah.
800.
No, 800.
800?
800.
Oh. It's like 100.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. I understand I said that in a weird way, but
It's like 800. Isn't that
No.
like $8,000?
no, it's not that much.
All right. Wow. That was... What just
Definitive.
happened?
DustTwo
stomped them, and then Lord Mono comes in for a triple, but doesn't give them nearly the same amount of points. They're up at 100 here for DustTwo.
DustTwo's done a really good job of like initiating on the last like 3 maps now. They've done a really fantastic job either throwing Lazarus off with a really like unorthodox push or just like focus targeting people from Lazarus and melting them down so quickly. They're always taking the lead at the start, and they always seem to build on that too. Like look at this, they're already up by about 100 points here.
Surgic is amazing. The way he played that 1v2 situation of just forcing the 1v1 by using the terrain around him and then peeking and shooting Divine King so he didn't take too much damage for the fight after. Flawless. Flawless play out of that man. And it's allowing DustTwo to maintain a 100-point lead.
Doran moving forward. He's going to take a lot of damage from the burn dot. Looks like he's got the HP to try and eat through it. I don't know if it's going to end up working out too well, though. Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to get run over by Mono as soon as he works up on the flank. Surgic, though, will try to take this back as the battle for the A point seems to never want to come to an end with how definitive control of this point can be. B is similarly contested at this point as Doran's going to be able to move on top, but the problem is he can't stay. He can't attempt to go for the full cap, so Lord Mono is going to be able to run right on as soon as his teammate goes down, recapture it for Lazarus, and start to bounce things back into their favor as they actually had a trip cap there for about 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, now they have 2, and 2 is going to be just as good here. As actually they're going to take a 100-point lead here momentarily. There's a lot of low HP targets on the side of Lazarus, so this is potentially a big power play here for DustTwo if they can pull it off correctly and get these eliminations relatively cleanly. And they've been able to pick up a quick 3. Now spreading out, trying to capture points at the same time. A going to be taken. B's not being touched. C's going to be picked up at the same time here. You see Romeo trying to stall and trying to get them sort of a chance to control that one. But A and C in the hands, the awkward points actually, funny enough, in the hands of DustTwo.
Lazarus still trying to reassert their lead here at this point, but the problem is they've lost 2 points consistently, and it seemed like they're having a problem getting a second one back into their control. Yes, they're getting C right now, but look at the amount of presence that's here from DustTwo that's sitting on B. It's unfortunately left again. Lazarus in a very tough position due to the fact that they can't seem to constantly control 2 points. Even when they start capping a second one, their other point gets back capped. So
I can see about 20 points here. Lazarus trying to maintain that first place position coming into the Pro Series event in Brazil. They need this victory, DustTwo, just for a chance to take that and skip through, get put straight into the semifinals. Be seeded directly into that position with, of course, the money on the side as well. They're actually really close to being able to pull this one off here. Need about 250 points to close this out, but Lazarus is not done just yet. They still have C. They're trying to do some sort of action towards A in the meantime. Divine King trying to push him with Romeo. Gets a nice 2-for-1 exchange. No, Dorn and Armace are going to be there in time to actually hold on to this one. And now Blue, 170 points left to go for DustTwo, and they quick pull off the upset.
DustTwo very quickly pushing towards the win here, and indeed completing that upset, really shaking up the ratings heading into the LAN finals here. They've got a 100-point lead over Lazarus. They've also got 2 points on them as well. You can see Lazarus trying to get the decap off on A, but so far relatively unsuccessfully. It's finally going to happen, but potentially far too late here. Maybe not, though. Hold on, Lazarus decapping everything. DustTwo are in the process of recapping A, and if they do that, they might be able to win, but no, it's stopped once again. Lazarus, they're going to be able to get the trip cap back into their favor in just a moment here, holding off the respawns from DustTwo, and there you go! Lazarus again pull off a massive comeback, and they are going to steal away the final map, securing a 3-2 victory for them, and of course, also securing them the #1 position in the European region, meaning they go straight through to the semifinals at our Pro Series event.
I figured out what the 2 in DustTwo means.
What?
They're going to throw the game twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. They kind of just collapsed there right at the end. They were over-focusing, I think, a little bit too much on their A cap. They had it for a while there, too, but the problem is as soon as they lost it, as soon as they got a full team wipe thrown against them, they just threw themselves right back at A. And like I said, the over-focus on just that single point, trying to inch their way up to 1,200 in order to win there, came back to bite them with a good amount of focus from Lazarus, along with keeping at least one player always off point in order to get the recap on the other 2 and really allow for Lazarus just to rocket back from that 1 to 200 point deficit that they were sitting at there in those last few seconds.
Makes our admin's job easy now.
Yeah.
To figure out, okay, well,
big sigh of relief for the entire admin team.
Exactly. So Lazarus will come through Europe in the first seed, and DustTwo will come through second. Okay, that's what the 2 means. It means second place.
Okay.
Or 2 place, because it's not Dust second. They come through second, but credit to them. They are able to overpower ForZe, where ForZe were like permanently locked in second, first place. Like they looked good throughout the first half of the season. Then they had that one bad cup. Cup 4, where they didn't make it through in the semifinals. They got knocked down quarterfinals, and it was just a slippery slope for them since then. And that's what happens. I mean, you might do well. You might win like the first, they won the first cup. But winning 1 cup's not going to do it. You have to consistently perform well, cup in and cup out over the course of the 7 weeks. And unfortunately, ForZe does fall, but DustTwo rises from its ashes.
And they will take the second place position, meaning they're going to earn a quarterfinal spot at the Pro Series LAN. We could take a look at the brackets that we've had for today's matchups, folks, and give you a nice little preview of who exactly beat who here for our semifinals onward. Of course, you can see all the results over on the ESL Play website at play.eslgaming.com. But for our semifinals and onward, Lazarus took the win over the Knights of Honor, who have continued to surprise us with their high-placing matches starting from the midpoint of this season. Meanwhile, DustTwo, of course, won over UnBreakable, and then we saw Lazarus just barely taking down DustTwo in our final matchup of the day.
So DustTwo had a 2... Actually, no, sorry, it was Lazarus had a 2-map lead. I think they're going to be happy about coming through in the nick of time at the end. But now looking at standings, and we got to see who are the top 2 teams.
And there we go.
We've been saying it, but now you get to see in terms of how much they were ahead of everyone else.
So a little over 100 points between second and third place. Unfortunately for DustTwo, the lead between them and Lazarus grew just a little bit more this week, and as such, they did not get the opportunity to try and close the gap there. Tied things up for first place, and obviously made things a little bit more difficult for our admins, but that does still give us definitive first and second place finishes, with Lazarus taking the first seed coming out of Europe, meaning they go straight through to the semifinals. DustTwo take the second seed, meaning they start from the quarterfinals.
And more importantly, they avoid Impact, because Impact will be put on the other side of the bracket in semifinals. So they're going to be playing probably, they're going to be playing a team not as good as Impact, because Impact, I think, have shown they're the best team in the world now, even with Noble winning the Gods of Boom event, but that's because there's only 2 teams. It was invitational. So they avoid them, and they have a better chance now moving through into the finals. But obviously that will come to fruition in June, so there's still some time before we get there.
Yep, and you were speaking of Impact before. We're going to hopefully get to see them in just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. As coming up after the break is going to be our North American side of the Cup, so do stick with us as we're not done just yet. We're going to restart and start from the semifinals of our North American Cup right after this break.